Hello, everyone. This is the live Q&A. It's a niche site project. I'm going to talk about Amazon affiliate sites and marketing and stuff. I see we have a handful of people on. Welcome. If you have the opportunity to during the video, can you please hit the thumbs up, the like button? I think a few people have already, so I really appreciate that. And if you're watching the replay, you can do the same. In fact, leave a comment. You can say hello. Couple of quick announcements today. So we have Josh on, we have Lance, we have Stuart, and hi, and David. What's up, everybody? So for today, the couple quick announcements. So number one, biggest thing, my course, 5-Figure Niche Site, it launches next week. So enrollment only opens a couple times a year here, and next week is the week that it opens up. So you have about 5 days. I'll send out emails. So if you're not on the email list, you can go to 5figurenichesite.com. The link is below, and you can sign up if you'd like to. Additionally, after getting more and more emails and questions that are sent in, which are fantastic, by the way, I was going to lose my mind. So I thought, why don't we be smart about this? So I created a Google form, and that is the second link. So there's a bit.ly link, and it's NSP questions. Basically, you could submit your questions there, and I'll be able to put them on the list. It'll be way easier for me, way more pleasant than getting 400 emails. But for the people that did send them in, there was no system before. So we're doing what we can. And once the pain, the issue got high enough, then I can make create some solution around it. So we're going to try the form, see how it works. And that'll just be, easier for you to submit the form, to submit your question. And actually, it really serves me more than anything else, but it'll force you to, write your question, think it out ahead of time, and maybe spend a little time on it. So that's really cool. There's some other links below. If there are links or products, they're probably an affiliate link. So I appreciate it if you use that. And I think that's about it. We do have a couple that were sent in. I'm going to hit those first. My friend Bob, Dr. Bob. So I'm going to say hello. Let me know in the chat where you're from. Just say hello. What's up? And we see Johan. We have Sean, Hiking Gear. We have Angela, Jaren, and I'll just say Aid. What's up? And Peter loves my videos. Thank you. And Adam says you're part of the 5-Figure Niche Site course and you'd recommend it to anyone. That is fantastic. Thank you. Appreciate that, Adam. And Brianna says, where's the link to the forum? There's no forum. There's no forum. But I'm not sure. Oh, the form. The form. It's a bit.ly form. So it is below. It's in the description. And then we have Joe and Shub, Steven, what's up? And Tao, Peter, what's up? Everyone. Nice crowd today. Really nice crowd. Okay, Peter says, is there a monthly payment option for 5-Figure Niche Site? Yes, there is. So I'm not going to go too deep into it today. I'm going to try and answer questions. So maybe I'll wait towards the end. But quick rundown, there are 3 options. There's the basic plan, there's the advanced plan, and then the premium plan. So basic gets you 8 units of material, covers all the basics, as you can imagine. The advanced section has 5 additional units. They are, as you would imagine, more advanced. So it's stuff you probably are not going to get into for like 12 months or so, but you'll have lifetime access to the course. So 5 additional units, and I'll go more into that in a bit. Then the premium option has, the advanced also has 6 different, 6 inner circle calls, or like webinars, and I just answer questions, right? And it differs from what we're doing here because they're advanced questions, right? They're people that are going through the course, so it's specific to the material. So there are basically no questions of, can I buy links at Fiverr? No dumb stuff like that, right? So no offense to anybody. But after that, the premium option has everything the advanced option has, except you get 4 one-hour coaching sessions with me, so I can look over your specific material. Or if you have, let's say you have an existing site and you're going through the course, you're cleaning up your foundational material, and then you want me to take a look at like a few of your posts to see how we can optimize it. That's the sort of stuff the one-on-ones are for. Additionally, Yeah, I think that covers it. So your question, is there a payment plan? Yeah, there is. So if you pay in a one-time, payment, it's like 15% off, pretty close to 15% off, give or take like 0.5%. And then any of the, the payment options are spread out over 10 months. So, okay. Let's see who else. Tisme came in, and then Brightfish, Rose, and Success Roller Coaster. Okay, I'm going to answer the question that Bob sent in. So, and I pasted this below. Basically, he says, to research the monthly volumes, I've tested several different tools. I like to use these tools because they give more definitive monthly search volumes. I don't know how accurate their numbers are. What do you suggest to use, or is it a personal preference? It's a personal preference. Basically, I just say pick one and stick with it. So usually if they're, a reputable company, like most of the ones listed here, all the ones listed here, you can use that data. Now, the Google Keyword Planner, of course, it doesn't, it gives you like a weird range, like a magnitude of range, so it's not super helpful. But if you use like Keywords Everywhere with the Keyword Planner, then you could get some data. But basically, just pick one and use it. It doesn't really matter. I personally use Keyword Keg, so that's my thing. And as far as like all the search volumes are estimates from whatever tool you're using. Yeah. Next. And the text of these questions, it's in the description if you want to look a little deeper, but I'll just summarize. Bob's asking, how short can I make a post for the keyword golden ratio? I say aim for 1,000 words at a minimum, and then you could add to it later. There's essentially no maximum for the amount of content if you're helping provide information. Helping to serve the user, that's the aim. That's what you're trying to do. So, okay, so now I'm going to hit the live questions over here. So feel free to type them in, and I'm going to just refresh the form. All right, a couple people use the form. Fantastic. This is awesome. Cool. And by the way, the form, if people are just joining in, so I created a form. There's a bit.ly link in the description, and it's a Google form. So at any time, day or night, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you can put your question in here. You don't have to email me anymore. You can email me, but it'll just be easier if you send the questions in through the form, and then it'll be like nice and organized and stuff like that. So thanks, folks, for using the form. I'm going to hit those first just to reward you. So we have Shub says, my understanding of SEO is that it's based on multiple factors. Given that, how can you so confidently promote the KGR? It only takes into account the all-in title aspect, which is just one out of many factors Google uses to rank pages. Okay, so the real question is, how can I so confidently promote the KGR? Okay, this is an excellent question. So when I first developed the idea, which I pulled ideas from many different areas, I took good parts from several different people. So I didn't come up with all in title, but the reason at this point that I can be so confident is because other people are doing it and then they're getting results. So you don't have to believe me anymore, because I would be skeptical of believing someone too. In fact, I am extremely skeptical, and I tested it out for about a year before I talked about it with anyone else. So I tested it for about a year, and after I got good results, then I rolled it out, told other people about it, and they got good results too. So, Shub, I respect the question, and you are right. There are many factors, but basically, people are skeptical, and then they try it, and then they get it to work. Now the thing is, there are issues with the formula, right? It doesn't always work. In fact, there's another question that another question that was sent in from last week, and basically it said, I found a KGR term, but most of the results are e-commerce, Walmart, Amazon, all of them, 90% on the homepage or on the first page. That's basically e-commerce. Is that a bad sign or a good sign? What does it mean? That's a bad sign. So basically, the other portion that one must consider is like other stuff that you would do for keyword research and when you're trying to develop your content. So you can't ignore the other stuff. Now, I have to be honest with you, as a marketer, I made the formula as simple as possible, and I could have added all the caveats, all the additional information I know from the, I think I figured it out the other day. I think I've published across various sites like over 1,000 keyword golden ratio terms. This is a pretty good amount of data, right? It doesn't always work. But I also understand there's a lot of nuance. But if I added all that nuance on there, it would end up like anybody takes some advanced calculus here, it would look like a triple integral, and it would look weird and people wouldn't like to use it. But I want people to use it. So you got to keep it simple. All right. Okay. And then Ingen says, I couldn't watch the income school keyword golden ratio video, which they deleted. Can I summarize their thesis and comment on the KGR? No. So what I did is I published a video in response, and, I had a private conversation with Ricky, and it was great. And what I would say is watch the video. There's a link in the description. I thought it would come up. So if anyone is, interested in the, asking about that, any of the moderators, you could direct them to the link in the description. So, all right. Let's see here. We have, and someone, okay. By the way, no need to test the form. The form does indeed work. So whoever did that, thanks for helping me test it, but it works already. Thanks. Okay, so the questions were sent into the chat. I'm going to hop over here. Brandon, what's up? You've overcome barriers to find writers, but the KGR research has been a challenge. How can you be more efficient in finding the KGR words fast? All right. It's going to take a while. So it's one of those things. Brandon, do you play an instrument? Do you play guitar or something like that? And if you don't, I'm going to use this analogy anyway. So when you play a guitar, you play an instrument, like basically you are terrible at first. It is difficult to play. Your hands don't do what you want them to do. You see other people play and it looks like they're not even trying. Their hands are so strong. They can play bar chords and stuff. And then when you try, you can't even hit a single note. It's just bad. Like your fingers aren't strong enough. You haven't developed the skills yet. But if you stick with it, you may even seem like you're not making any progress for like weeks or months. And then one day you play bar chords, and then you can move your fingers in ways you didn't think you could. So my suggestion, if you want to get better at it, is to practice and keep looking. If you can, look at, if you sort of like emulate, maybe watch some of my demo videos where I'm doing it, then that's a good way to look at it. But it's a skill you have to develop. And once you start finding them, it's pretty easy to find a lot more. All right. Peter says, is doing a mix of KGR and QSR a good idea? I don't know what QSR is. Can you clarify that? Okay. And Rose says, you found out about Fast Comet hosting and Scale hosting. What's my opinion? You made the mistake of choosing the wrong hosting, and now you're obsessed with choosing the wrong one again. Okay. So I don't know anything about either of those, so I'm sorry. However, I would say hosting is a commodity, so you shouldn't really worry about it too much, especially if you're just starting out. So as long as you're paying, like, I think you get what you pay for with these commodity type things, though. So if you are paying like super cheap, not a good thing. And Rose, I think I had suggested Siteground. There's a link in the description. It's my affiliate link. That's who I like right now a lot. And I got it from a recommendation from, a couple friends that are a little bit further ahead than I am. So, they were testing out a couple other hosting companies. They like Siteground. I use them. So yeah, sorry, I can't provide an opinion on that, but you shouldn't spend too much time trying to figure out what hosting to use. Okay. Josh says, when doing keyword research for keyword golden ratio, you're getting stuck in a specific keyword set. Any tools or tips on how you could break out to get new ideas? I would say, potentially like go to Amazon and see if you could look at like other sort of products in the niche, something like that. Not really sure like where, you got stuck, but I think if you look at the link in the description the question in the description, there's like Ubersuggest and Answer the Public. Answer the Public seems to be really popular amongst folks right now. So by the way, if I answered your question, if you could spare a moment and hit the thumbs up just to help other people find it. I think we have almost 60 people on. We have about 21 likes. I've already liked the video myself, which is the thing you can do. Just to, help get people on. But if I answered your question or if you found any single tiny bit helpful, like the video. All right. Next, Lance says, when you add an image through Amazon, does that count as an image with alt text to help your page rank or not? Okay. I don't think so as much because it's not going to have the file name associated with it and that sort of thing. So you should, Lance. And Lance, if you have follow-up questions, let me know. Lance is part of the 5-Figure Niche Site course. But if you have follow-ups, you could reach out to me directly, Lance. But basically, you should probably snag stuff from like Creative Commons. Those look a little more authentic. And Josh says, I guess it's like a follow-up to the, keywords, like trying to get more ideas for keywords. Basically, you're asking, can you delve into using stuff like SEMRush to make it work? Yeah. Anything like that will be helpful for you. So awesome. Thanks everyone who just hit the like. I see it went up quite a bit. QDog is a calculus fan as well. All right. Cedic says, do I pay the blog owners to publish your guest post or try to look for ones that do it for free? I try and look for ones to do it for free. However, I have tested, a couple like guest posts where they were like, will you pay us $25? Because I wanted to test it to see how it worked. But in general, you should not do that. If you're trying to be a pure white hat, then you should not do that. It's I think not Income School, but I think the Authority Hacker guys wrote a post on that sort of thing. So you could check that out. I think Perrin probably wrote it. I'm not 100% sure, but I've been referred to it a couple times. I think people like it. Okay, cool. And Hiking Gear, no worries. Hiking Gear is the person that tested the form, but that's totally okay. No worries, man. Okay. Next, we have Low Art. Hey, what's up? So what do I think about competition when the videos are in the SERPs, but the results are not necessarily video driven, like recipes, and the videos are a sign of high competition or low? Okay. I haven't studied this as much, but here's my gut feeling. This is how I look at it, me personally. Okay. Not saying this is a fact or anything like that, but let's say you Google something and 80% of the results are videos. Well, that tells me Google's looking for videos. If you Google something and 80% of the results are like, e-commerce, right? Maybe it's Amazon, maybe it's specific vendors, maybe it's, mom and pop shops, stuff like that. If it's e-commerce, then I assume Google's looking for e-commerce type results. Alternatively, a lot of times, if you find a keyword and you see most of the results are like niche sites, or at least there's a few niche sites mixed in there with like other just content type sites, that's a good sign generally. Now, does it mean you can't compete? No, I mean, you can, but if it's all videos, you could assume Google has realized that people want videos as a result there. QDog says, Does readability play into SEO ranking factors? Yeah, I think it does on a minor level. I believe I can't remember. I think I was watching a Whiteboard Friday by Moz. Rand Fishkin was doing one, and he talked about, grammar and misspelled words. And, they ran some tests. I don't know how rigorous they were. He only referred to the results. He said it looked like misspelled words, like everything else being equal, where they like misspelled words on one and then changed it later, like it impacted the rankings. And bad grammar, poor readability. Now, if you're talking readability, like how many syllables are in the words and how long are the paragraphs and sentences, well, I don't know about that specifically, but I have a feeling that could impact the user experience and how long they're spending on the page, stuff like that. So even if it's not a direct thing, you should always try and have good readability. So, okay. And QSR is quoted search results. So the original question was, is doing a mix of keyword golden ratio and quoted search results a good idea to confirm your results? I don't understand the question. Can you rephrase it, Peter? I'm really sorry. I understand the words and I understand each of the words, but I don't understand the context of the question or how one could combine the. I don't understand. Probably yes. I think in general, mixing KGR with everything else is a good idea. Okay. And as we're going through here, I see a couple more questions that popped up in the form. So this is fantastic. This is a little bit easier. And I think it's going to be just really great because I'm going to be able to copy these questions and put it into the description of the video so people potentially could actually find the answer. Maybe. That's hard to say. All right. So another question that was sent in. How do you handle redundant KGR terms? Do I create a separate website or just add them to the silo with a link back to the parent page without regard to redundancy? I'm worried about the parent pages will look weird with all these similar sounding articles. Thanks for your help. You're welcome. Basically, number one, I don't do silos and I don't create a separate website. So neither of those come into play. As far as redundant KGR terms, what you have to do is think, like, what searcher is looking for this? And if it's the same like content that could serve the same searcher, then you should just do one article, right? Just combine the two, the redundant. However, if it's two different types of like searchers and visitors to your site, then you should have separate ones. And you can think about like it's the type of user. So if you did like best ballpoint pen for journaling, and then best ballpoint pen for like writing a research paper, those are different things. Those are different kinds of users. So you would have different articles, even though you may recommend the same pen, right? Maybe it's the same pen. Maybe it's a lot of like similar ideas and stuff. But yeah, that's the way you should think about it. Good question. All right. Okay, another question came in. Said, do I have any tips for someone looking to create a side income online while creating Amazon associate websites at the same time, i.e. using the skills like SEO, keyword research, and article writing? Yeah, so excellent, right? So I kind of talk about this when I do my webinars and stuff. So wow, it's blowing up in the chat over there. Thanks, everyone. It looks like we have a decent number of viewers. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, would really appreciate it. Thank our moderators, by the way. You could leave a comment if you're watching the replay. Just say thanks. I know we have at least Lance and Duke, my man Duke, and maybe a couple other people as well. So as far as tips for doing other work, so one, you do want to have like some chops, right? You want to be skilled. So if you're just starting out and you don't know what you're doing, I would caution you to like try and start freelancing if you don't know what you're doing. I know a lot of people and there's a lot of examples. There's a lot of examples where people were like, yeah, I got an SEO contract and I didn't know anything about SEO. and then I just hired people to do the work for me. Those are stories that are interesting and perhaps slightly inspiring, that sort of thing. But as a person who hires people, like that could be really frustrating. I know a lot of people that are watching right now, you hire people also. So it could be kind of, you know, it's disheartening if you hire someone and they don't know what they're doing and they're like kind of making stuff up, or maybe they're repeating things that they've heard other people talk about and they don't know what they're doing. So make sure you have some chops. After you have some chops, I would recommend going to like Upwork and opening an account there and start bidding on jobs. At that point, you can, improve your reviews and your resume and stuff like that to be able to get better gigs as you go along. So that's my advice. I don't advise you, if you don't know what you're doing, I don't advise you to, try and like charge people for it, because it's going to be frustrating for you and for them. Now, it doesn't mean you can't learn fast. So, you can definitely like, spend a couple weeks on keyword research and you're going to know more than like 99% of the people out there and be able to help them. So good question. All right. Johan says, thanks for formulating the KGR. Is there a sample article that has the KGR applied that we can see? I can't seem to remember seeing a sample from the videos. I don't think I like gave a specific sample, but I think if you like watch the videos and the ones that I do a couple demos for certain keywords. So if you watch those, there's a playlist, maybe even in the description. I'm not sure if I had that. Okay. Yeah, there is. The keyword golden ratio playlist has a few demos in there. So you may be able to find some examples there. But basically, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could, as long as you, use the keyword golden ratio in the title and then put it somewhere, hopefully like in the first paragraph, you should be fine. I recommend about 1,000 words to start with, and then you could add to it if it's getting traction. But as far as the article, I mean, you can just write an article. I have the perfect Amazon review. Highly recommend it. It seems to work well for people. Okay. Oh, and Adam has a great idea. For ideas for keywords, go to Quora. That's another good one. Great. Josh says, any experience with doing product mentions instead of pure money pages and product reviews? No. And you used product mentions and quotes, so I'm not 100% sure what that means and don't know. All right. QDog says, how do I keep motivated? Some of the everyday tasks are so boring. Blog commenting, outreach, basically everything's boring. Once you get past the exciting part of like doing stuff, it's boring, right? It's boring. It's work. And I have some YouTube friends and they're big on Instagram and stuff too. And it looks like they're having a blast. I'm so jealous of them. I think they're about, I don't know, like 15 years younger than me or so. A little old. You can see I don't have any hair. And they're on vacationing. They're on beaches all the time. They're doing cool stuff. Really jealous. There's like 3 inches of snow out here right now. And you know what I do? I sit my ass down in the seat for most of the day. I have a flexible schedule, so I can go walk the dog or work out. But I spend a lot of time just sitting here doing work that is probably super freaking boring. So as far as motivation, I think I have a weird sort of intrinsic motivation. I think everybody has to find like their own way to stay motivated. Some people are more motivated like by external sources. So like if you have a commitment to like your friends and you're like, oh, I don't want to be late. I made plans with them. I really need to like come through for them. Like, in QDog, let me know. Are you more motivated for that sort of thing? Or if you set an internal goal, you write it down or something, like, is that more powerful than like you serving other people in some way and coming through for them? So you have to look internal and external. For me, it's like a blend of the two, but generally I can stay on task on my own. All right, Adam recommends outsourcing the editing, content writing, the blog commenting. True, you can outsource a lot of that. Okay, and Peter says, you're in the middle of the commute. So okay, so you're looking to combine the KGR and the quoted search ratio. Is that a new thing, the quoted search ratio? Just curious if comparing the data sets is a good idea. Like, I don't know what the quoted search ratio is. So I'm really sorry. If that is a new thing, let me know. It'd be cool to rope it in. Maybe we could do a KQRS thing. All right. Pratt Mesh, what do I consider an article ranked number one position or top 3 or in top 10? Usually, one must define what they're like trying to describe. So just in general, I would say like if you're on the first page, like it's ranked. Because if you're on the second page, you're probably not going to get much traffic from that term. So Josh says, any thoughts on creating a proper standalone guest post course? I thought about it at certain times. And actually, you know what? Leave a comment and or something in the chat. Like there were a couple of things that I have thought of in the past, right? So keyword research, right? I could do a course on keyword research. I could do one on guest posting where it would be like, you know, smaller. It would be sort of a subset of the material that's in 5-Figure Niche Site, but maybe a little bit, you know, more in depth. So it can serve a beginner to an advanced keyword researcher or a beginning to an advanced guest post course. But Josh, I can tell you right now, if you just watch a few of my videos, go check out like stuff on Backlinko, like that's all you need to know. There's no, I mean, that's basically it. I've gone over it a few times. Like it's super simple. It's just like go back to what QDog was saying. It's boring. It's kind of boring. And that's why it's harder to do. All right. And I'm getting way behind on the chat. So John says, oh, Randall's on. So John says, if one sticks with the KGR method, do I think one has to continuously write articles? No, you can stop. Once you get enough, you can stop. Okay, Josh says, once our site gets a certain number of links, can we increase our KGR metrics? Yes, you can. John says, how many videos should a post have at most? It all depends on the post. So I think it's only limited by like how slow it will load. The reason why is, let's say you have a post where you're just giving a tiny bit of commentary and you have a bunch of videos. It's like a tutorial, right? It's like almost like a course within like your post. If you wanted to do that, you could. So there's no limit other than, I think if you put a lot of embeds in your post, it may load a little bit slow. So that would be the thing to look out for. I usually put like 1, maybe 2. Randall says, if you're doing FBA and build out a niche site reviewing your own products, what takes precedent, your affiliate link to your own product or the product you purchase? Is it against the terms of service? I don't know anything about FBA. I'm pretty sure it's against the terms of service. There's some conflict of interest going on there. So I would check with people who are FBA folks. I really don't know, but I have a feeling I would avoid anything that is weird. And I would also, anything that seems like it may be unethical, it probably is. And then I'm pretty sure you can contact both FBA and associates to find out what you can or cannot do. And I'm pretty sure they'll be able to do it. Josh says, do I arm my sites with non-KGR terms too? Yes. Any thoughts on bringing in traffic via queries and then funneling them to a linked? Yes, it's good. All the things you're asking, Josh, they're spot on. Yeah. So yeah, you're thinking about it the right way. And I think, the key thing will be to execute. Do all the things that you're thinking about. Crypto says, how long till you see some traffic coming in after you publish your first post? Okay, and I'll ask people in the chat and in the comments to put your information in there, but 4 to 6 weeks is what I've seen. If you're working through the material in 5-figure niche site, 4 to 6 weeks, you could potentially get traffic in your first sale. All right. Okay. Pratt Mesh says, have I tried content sharing sites? No. What can you use to see where you are ranked? serplab.co.uk is what I use. There are many tools out there, but that's the one I use. I think there are some free options. So that can help you out. And I think I just skipped a whole section. Man, there are a lot of questions. Okay. Like so many. Okay. Okay. Sorry. The chat, I call it a freak out. The chat freaks out every now and then and it just scrolls down to the bottom and I lose my spot. Okay. And I'm going to try and answer faster if I can. Steven says, quoted search results. This tells you the exact number of websites competing for the exact search term. A QSR of 300 or below is a sweet spot and should be easy to get rankings for. Oh, you know what? I don't know if it's helpful to do a comparison, but I suspect if there's, the quoted search results, a QSR of 300 or below, if you could find that, then I think it would go together well with the KGR. But I expect it's probably, difficult to do. Never looked at it. It's not something I check. Okay. Hi says a keyword gets 150,000 monthly searches. It's probably been asked, but what do I think the lower end range on a keyword that is worthy of a niche? Can you rephrase your question? I'm not really sure what you're asking. Sorry, folks. It's hard to it's hard to read the subtext in the questions here. Green Engineer, do I place affiliate links in all your posts? Most of them, but probably not all of them. Prep Mesh, do I consider going, do I consider including main keywords like if you're going for cars? I don't know. Like, would you put it in the domain? Does it help ranking? I'm not sure. I've never tried it. It probably doesn't hurt. But the reason why it would help is like you would get links back to your site with the brand name. So that's why it would help, not because it's like intrinsically in the domain name. All right, Lisa says, do you update the current year on each post manually every year? Is there a way to automate it? I usually, Lisa, I usually don't put the year in, but yeah, if you use the Yoast SEO plugin, there are variables for different pieces of data, like the year. So you can just do that if you want to. Okay, and Philip says, you're doing cartwheels. You published a KGR compliant keyword 2 hours ago, and now it's on page 1. Thanks. That's amazing. After all the discussion on the KGR in recent days, I almost feel like it's not even it's not going to work. All right, your guitar guide, which is Sharon, I think. I can't remember. Do more keywords equal more traffic? It depends on how you're applying that. So more content usually means more traffic. But if you just slam more keywords into a post, it doesn't mean more traffic. Mumid says, do I think Google cares about the ratio between commercial keywords and informational keywords in a website? Yes, I do. There's something called a thin content penalty that is real. Next, I have a website. This is Jamie. You started in 2014 with a couple test posts. You haven't worked on it. If it's developed now, would it be out of the sandbox? I don't know exactly, but I have a feeling not. It could be a shorter sandbox, but I have a feeling it's not going to be like if you had a site and you were actively doing stuff. I have a feeling, I haven't tested this, but I have a feeling that, if you don't do it, if you just buy a domain name and don't do anything to it, it's not like you're progressing out of the sandbox. I feel like when you're working on it, then you're moving out of the sandbox. Now, one of the like pieces of evidence that I see is when I published a lot of keyword golden ratio terms, they would rank on the first page. Back to the question earlier, they would rank on the first page a lot of times, maybe like 75% of them, pretty quickly, right? Pretty quickly, within a week or two. All right. And then over time, over like a couple months or so, they'd move up from like number 8 to like number 2. So that said, it kind of showed me that like maybe there was a sandbox per URL. Maybe it's shorter, right? Maybe it's not 6 months because my domain's all right, but it slowly moved up over time. All right. Is it okay to use a template for meta description so that they have a similar but customized blah, blah, blah? Um, so it's probably fine. I would, go study a little copywriting and you could come up with your own template. I personally don't do meta descriptions much anymore because Google kind of cherry picks whatever they want anyway. So usually the first sentence of whatever my post was going to be, or whatever my post is, would be a good meta description anyway, right? So I do that anyway. And then most of the time, Google picks like something that they find interesting further in the article, and the meta description doesn't matter. Okay. And Josh says, product mentions are subtle link drops preceded by stuff like Doug's favorite pen instead of a full product page review. Yeah. So sure, Josh, that's fine. And you mentioned Penny Hoarder, which is a big blogger, does it all the time. So the thing is, like, if you all your questions, Josh, again, they're great ideas. So all you have to do is execute on them. Like if you see Penny Hoarder doing something, it's probably working. So you can like apply it forward and do it. Okay. And Prep Mesh, I see your questions. So please stop posting them and just give me time to go through them. So please stop posting them over and over again. All right. And I'm continuing to lose my spot here. Da, 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 da. Okay. And then Amin says, you just joined live. And Amin, your question, I see it there. There's a link in the description so you can see what I said. And that's all. I'll comment on it right now. Okay. And da, 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 da. Adam says, how do you set up your site so it's mobile friendly, or is that something you concern yourself with? Basically, I just make sure that my theme is mobile responsive, and then that's all I do. Okay, and Jaron is saying the terms of service says that you can link to your own FBA product, and that's totally fine. Okay, so Jaron says it's fine. And I think just as a rule to everyone, if you're doing something, you should, you could contact Amazon and they have like customer support folks, and they will tell you if it's a yay or a nay. So if you ever have a question, I would suggest you avoid going to like a Facebook group or a forum to ask the question, and you could like go straight to the people that like wrote the terms of service, and then you'll know. Okay, Pratt Mesh says, you thought articles that rank at 5 to 10 get negligible traffic. What's my experience? Yes. Josh says, is there a secret sauce in your course that I don't reveal here in your live shows? Yeah. And actually, I would say sort of, but it's different than what you may think. And I'd ask the people that are in the course, especially in the chat, what do you think, right? You've been through it like Adam, Lance. It is what's omitted in the course. It's what I don't put in. There's a lot of stuff that we're talking about here that just doesn't matter. Like people say it matters. Maybe they're selling a product on it. And look, I mean, I'm selling a course. So, I mean, I have my own incentives to emphasize certain areas and stuff. But really, you can find everything you need to find, actually, way more than you need to find on blogs, podcasts, and on YouTube. And then I believe I haven't taken all the courses out there. I only know about my own, but I'm pretty sure it's what's omitted, right? It is the proper order to do the steps as you go along. And then the big thing is like to be able to ask me questions and not in this format. These this format isn't great. We get a lot of the same questions often, and you know, we get a lot of the same questions that, you know, frankly, again, just don't matter. So it's what's omitted in the course that is the secret. And I would never use the term secret sauce. There's no secret. All right. Justin says, with SERP Lab, have I had the problem with the website and the keywords not being found? No. Okay. And Molsk, I think is how you pronounce it. You think too much about the niche. I have so many niche researched. How should I choose and decide? Many seem to have the same potential. So I would look at the competition and make some analysis, you know, a decision based on the competition, right? And then assuming everything else is equal, and it sounds like you've done the research and stuff, and you say, um, many seem to have the same potential. That means you can just pick one, and it doesn't matter. Just pick one and stick with it. Don't pick three. Just pick one, and then work on it for a while, and then see if it works. So that's the advice. Brianna says, can a keyword be a keyword golden ratio even if it doesn't have any search volume? So the formula sort of falls apart at that point, but basically you should definitely go for anything with a like a zero search volume is kind of a good thing to go for. So and more notes on the QSR, the quoted search results. Steven's saying it's very old, but your understanding is that Google stopped properly supporting it in 2010, and the results are highly inflated. Yeah, if you know of people that are using it effectively with a QSR, Peter, then go for it. To my knowledge, like I don't know anyone using it, and I haven't used it myself, so it doesn't mean it's not useful. It's just I don't know. John's on. Tao says, okay, sorry. There's some back and forth conversation. Pratt Mesh says, how much time will it take for a KGR term to rank if a site is in the sandbox period? So you're saying the first page, I'm not 100% sure. Pratt Mesh, all I could tell you is you should probably not worry about the metrics so much because I recognize you're in these often. You're asking a lot of questions that lead me to believe you're looking like for permission to do it or something like that. If you are publishing content and nothing's ranking, then you may have an issue with on-site SEO. So I would check that out. I mean, a lot of people are able to publish content and rank very quickly, even with a brand new site, even when they're in the sandbox. All right. Next, I think there may be a couple of questions that were in the form, but let me try and make it through the chat. Okay, does anyone have a good template for privacy policy and disclaimer for Amazon affiliate sites? I would, John, I would maybe go check out like some of the bigger sites and sort of cherry pick. And for the Amazon disclaimer, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, they give you the text and it's all over the place. Adam says you can progress out of the sandbox with soft launches if you remember us talking about it. I don't with the soft launch since there's no reason to monetize a new site anyway. That's true. Jamie says, do I recommend Ultimate Azon 2 or is it different from the first version? It is different from the first version. I think it's like more modern as far as like, or sorry, not more modern. You can put more products in. You should, here's the deal with the Ultimate Azon theme. It takes a little bit to set up. So if you're like brand new, and or you don't like fussing around with a theme, then maybe a simpler theme would be better. It does provide like some integration to the Amazon API and stuff like that. But for me, I don't like themes that much. So I just kind of stick with, a few themes that I've used over and over again. I know how to use them. Amin says, would I recommend creating a YouTube channel to promote your blog? Well, it depends. So if you like YouTube and you know how to make videos and stuff, it could be a great way to, bring some traffic in. Maybe you could even rank for some stuff. However, I believe that if you're trying to do like a YouTube channel and a blog and work on the SEO and all the other stuff you have to do, it may be a little overwhelming. So I would wait until you have your SEO traffic coming in stable, right? And then you could branch out. Or if you wanted to do the YouTube channel primarily up front and then come back around and do the SEO side, that would be valid as well. Eduardo, what's up from Spain? Duke says you're testing out the Rehub theme that Alex at WP Eagle recommended. Have I ever used it? Nope. I haven't. Adam says, in response to the question about the course, you find the structure and exercises most helpful. Nothing was held back, but it can be overwhelming without a timeline. Amin says, some people say that the health and fitness niche like weight loss are saturated and not recommended for bloggers. What do I think? Well, I think anything's possible. And, for example, the internet marketing, like that is a competitive area and I'm making it work, right? And I didn't know anything about anything when I got started. However, if you're worried that it's saturated and too competitive, then it's probably not for you. Like if you're scared before you start, then it's not for you. And if you listen to other people who say, they're discouraging you, they say it's too competitive and you think, oh, it is too competitive, I can't do it. Well, you probably should look for something less competitive. Now, that said, it doesn't mean you can't carve out a pocket, but if you think it's too hard and saturated, then that will be your future, Randall says, is your system a day job killer? And do I have a plan B in case Amazon decides to stop the affiliate program? Randall, I would never call it like a day job killer. I think there's a lot of effective stuff, but as I've alluded to, a couple of times, like it's all hard work. It's all like, just putting the time in. So from my perspective, it's really up to you. And then as far as a plan B, if Amazon stops the affiliate program, not specifically, but here's the thing, like if I have a site that has traffic, I should be able to figure out how to monetize it. Additionally, alluding back to the question about doing a side hustle with like skills you learned about niche sites, basically I understand how to do like content marketing and build an email list and a lot of other sort of skills. So I don't have a plan B in place, but now I know that I can create something on my own. I've done it before and I understand how to do it. So I don't have a plan B, but I know, if all of a sudden Amazon completely cut off the program, chances are I'd be able to go to say like Walmart. Maybe it wouldn't be as profitable, but I have, again, skills to do other things and that sort of thing. So good question though. Okay. As we're scrolling down, Wesley says, how many beers does it take to recover from the Friday Q&A? Well, the thing is you have to start the day before. So about 3 yesterday, and then I think like I ran out of CO2 a couple days ago. I have a kegerator, folks that don't know. So I ran out of CO2. So dispensing the beer, it was like just a trickle, but I filled up my CO2. And then I think later today, I'm going to head over. There's a brewery really close by called Outlaw Brewing. Probably will pick up a keg of pale ale. So Wesley, about a keg's worth. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right. Pamela says, are keyword search software programs worth the money? Yes, they can shorten like the amount of time you're spending on keyword research. They all have their pros and cons, like all tools. I don't think you need to buy like a year's worth. I typically say like you can do keyword research for a month or two, and that should give you enough keywords for quite a long time. So, in general, I don't think you need to like get a lifetime plan, or you don't need to pay for a year in advance. You can if you want. I know you can save some money that way, but a lot of times I think 1 or 2 months, and after talking to people, like, I mean, the work is in publishing the content. The work is not in the keyword research. That's pretty quick. So, let's see. All right. Josh says, thanks for all the videos. You took the plunge and hired 3 writers. Awesome. Good to hear. And Pratt Mesh says, you're currently working on the keyword golden ratio and you've created some content and you were just curious about time for ranking. So Pratt Mesh, all I could say is, just work as hard as you can, continually look to improve as you're going, right? So everything's going to take longer than you think. Everyone remember that. Everything's going to take longer than you think. It's going to be harder. You'll think, hey, if actually I did a video on this a couple weeks ago. I did a video and I talked about Pat Flynn and he retweeted it. It was really cool. But you know what? Like, no one watched the video. It didn't matter, right? Like, you will always feel like, oh, if I could just get the one, like the next thing, if I could just guest post on this site, it would make all the difference. Every little step like gets you a little bit closer, but it's rare when it's like you did the one thing and then boom, it exploded. It will happen, right? It can happen, but usually there's like 40 things that preceded it. So anyway, Pratt Mesh, just keep pushing forward. You're doing great. Sakit says, according to me, comparatively, a good theme, or which is a good theme for Amazon affiliate sites? Sakit, I don't know. You can pick any theme. It really doesn't matter. Just make sure it's clean, it loads fast, and it's secure. So, I mean, I could recommend a bunch of affiliate stuff or whatever, but I mean, it's one of those things. The theme, it doesn't matter. The theme doesn't matter. You can just pick one. Keep it simple. I would say if you could have fewer options in the theme, that's better. Simple is better. All right. Peter says, you're just starting your first site and it's your first live chat. Welcome. Your first few articles are KGR optimized. You'll check away. The QSR stuff is 4,000 words overkill. Potentially. So I usually do the 1,000 words to start with, and then I'll wait a little while. And whichever ones are getting traction, then I'll add more, maybe up to 4,000. If you put 4,000 on there, I don't think that's a bad thing. Maybe we can compromise and you can get, do like 1,500 to 2,000 or 2,500. More content will be good, right? I mean, you could attract more long tail keywords. So it's not bad to put more on. It just obviously requires more of an investment, and only if it's like, within your reach. Maybe you're like a really strong writer, or maybe, someone in your family will write for you for relatively cheap or free. And at that point, yeah, sure. 4,000 words is not going to hurt you. All right. John says, your first informational articles are live. Congratulations. Now you're working on product reviews. Fantastic. Justin says, where do I suggest learning more about good copywriting? Awesome question, Justin. I like copywriting a lot. So couple things I'll recommend. Copywriting course. Actually, a guy named It's Neville Medora, and he's like friends with Noah Kagan of AppSumo, but he has like a copywriting course. I purchased like, I think it's like now a free PDF, but that it's a good, he has a lot of like awesome free information. And then he'll recommend something called the Boron Letters. I've read that. It's by Gary Halbert, I believe. So I've read that per his recommendation. And then there are several other books. I recommend reading a book called Influence by Robert Cialdini. I've recommended this a couple times, and I think it's not about copywriting specifically, but all of the 6 ideas of influence that are covered in the book in depth are used and can be used in copywriting. Really helpful. So those are a couple of good jump off points. And then another, I would say, look at I Will Teach You to Be Rich. That's Ramit Sethi. I've actually taken his copywriting course. It's called Call to Action. And, it's a nice, kind of like the way I describe the course. You could find so much copywriting information for free, but the way that Ramit and his team has organized it makes it really effective to go through the material and like come out on the other side with the result that you're looking for. So highly recommend any of the I Will Teach You to Be Rich courses. They're very good. They're not cheap, right? They're pretty expensive, but they're very good and well done. So good question, Justin. All right. Molsk says, how many posts do you need to make a decent niche site? It's totally up to you. You should launch with about 10 articles, but you could grow it as big as you want, or maybe you want to keep it smaller. The number of articles doesn't have a huge amount with the amount that you could make, once you get to maybe like 40 or 50 posts. So for example, in Project Go White Hat, by the way, Project Go White Hat. Who has heard about Project Go White Hat? Leave a comment if you're watching the replay and just curious in the chat. I haven't talked about it much in a while, but Project Go White Hat is a site that was making like 10K a month. It grew to about 30K at one point. And at the time when it was making 10K a month, it was only like 40 to 45 posts. That's it. 40 to 45 posts, 10K a month. Okay, and Steven says, Backlinko did some research, and basically around 1900 words is like better rankings, right? So 1900 words or longer get better rankings generally. So, all right, Sakit, he says, I'm like a teacher for us. You work on the ideas I suggest and submit your report, and then you ask the queries, and you make sure to attend the live sessions to be on track. Cool. Thanks for attending. All right, Sharon says, are YouTube videos indexed in Google? Yeah, they are. Justin says, when you add more words to your article, do you have writers do that, or do I just go in there and add the content? Generally I have writers do it, but I'm probably going to do some of that on my own, like actually on like Niche Site Project. I've sort of neglected it for a little while, but yeah. Matthew says, has anyone had an issue with media image ranking instead of a post because the image title is too similar to the post? You redirected the image URL to the attachment, but one day Google ranks the post, the other the image, and it keeps going back and forth. I haven't seen that specifically for something that I've studied, Matthew, but I think that I think I have observed like images ranking, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay. Johan says, have I talked about making a KGR optimized site in a zero budget? Are there case studies? No, I haven't talked about that. And I would say, don't try and do that. If you're, I mean, I could understand to like try to watch your budget and stick to your budget and stuff. But if you're trying to do something for free, that's kind of, it's just not going to work out. Like you're going to make too many compromises and it's just not going to work out. If there are people saying that you can do it for $0, I would question like what I would question that. It seems weird. You have to make some investment. Now you could do it for pretty cheap, but I mean, at least you have to pay for hosting. At the very least, you would have to pay for hosting. Sakit says, okay, Sakit, you're looking for the copywriting thing. Just go to copywriting course, Neville Medora, Google it, find it. You could find it. Okay, and Peter says, what's the difference between follow and no follow links? So follow links they're like given like a vote to your site, right? So this is the kind of rough analogy. When you get a link to your site, it's like a vote. Google recognizes that. The no follow, they are like not recognized as passing, so-called link juice, which is another rough analogy. But you want to have more. I mean, do follow links, they're better. Now, the thing is, no follow links, I believe, are still helpful. And, depending on who you talk to, they may have different thoughts on it. My impression of the no follow links is if you're getting traffic through it, say like through a blog comment, which are no follow, usually by default. If you have traffic coming through a no follow link, I think it's still valuable. So, okay. And Matthew says, with the image ranking, you think it started after you changed your theme? Maybe you should buy one instead of using a free theme. Potentially. I mean, I think, free themes can be okay, but if you're using a free one, I would suggest using one of the WordPress or Automatic. Automatic is the parent company of WordPress. They put out themes also, so they have free ones as well. All right. I think there were a couple questions that were sent in on the form. By the way, if you're joining in late and you haven't liked the video, I'd really appreciate it. It looks like we have about 40 now. That's pretty good. We have 60 people on. And I think, unfortunately, I feel like the questions are slightly degrading. But I'm going to get the ones here in the form. Thanks, everyone, for using the form, by the way. In the future, if you have questions ahead of time, put them in the form. It'll totally help me out, like going through the questions, and I'll be able to copy and paste these questions into the description, which is good. So people could potentially, find the information they're looking for. All right. Okay. And someone is asking, have I ever thought about doing a live case study with a student like Niche Site Project? Generally, no. Generally, no. So I have the other day, someone recommended that, hey, what if we did like a challenge, kind of like, actually, it's exactly what Pat Flynn did with Niche Site Duel 2.0, where there's like a community and all that stuff. And for whatever reason, like that particular like Niche Site Duel 2.0 like didn't like work out that well. I don't know why. I think a lot of stuff was changing with SEO at the time. But from my perspective, it didn't really work out that well. And, part of it didn't seem to like pan out. I don't know why. Maybe it was just my own impression. But for me, I've done a couple like case studies, right? So if you look back at Rob, I have all the recordings of me and Rob like coaching together, and then how well he's done afterwards. Got a cough here. But yeah, for me to take a student and do like a live case study, I don't know. It's less interesting to me for some reason. All right. So Justin says, what do I think about pop-up lead generation for email list on niche websites? Do they hurt rankings? I think if you have like too many aggressive pop-ups, or if they like pop up right away and it's a bad user experience, like people bounce back right away, that's bad. I think that would hurt rankings. I think you're probably better off like going just a little easier on the pop-ups. So, but I don't know. Next, we have if the keyword volume is 2000 and the all-in title is 0 through 5, shall we use it? Okay. So this is one of those questions. What I'm going to do soon, folks, is this was Marcel's idea. Marcel isn't on today, I don't think, but he watches some of the videos. So Marcel, thanks if you somehow make it into an hour and 15 minutes of this video. And you see this, thanks for the idea. Basically, it's a frequently asked section, and there are questions like this. And Abinab, sorry if I mispronounced your name, but this is one of those questions where it's a bad question, right? It's a unanswerable question. So I'm sorry, there are some bad questions. And I'm sorry to have to tell you that. There are some bad questions, and this is one of them. It's like, should you use it? Sure, you can give it a shot. I have no idea. Here's the problem, right? There are too many variables. Like the keyword volume is 2000, but I don't know if like all the results are like all e-commerce. So if I tell you, yes, use it, because it looks like by the math, it looks like you should do it. However, if all the results are YouTube videos and you publish it, it may not rank. And then you may come back and say, Doug, I did what you said and it didn't work. It's just an unanswerable question. It doesn't make sense. So most of the time what I tell people, and I think this may be the default answer, if you have an idea and you think, hey, I'm thinking of trying this, should I do it? The answer 100% of the time is yes, do it. Give it a shot, test it out, because you probably thought through it a little bit. And then you know that, for whatever reason, the logic is leading you to think that it's a good idea. What you don't need is my permission. I'm just some guy, right? Like, you don't need my permission. You just need to test it. And I don't know if that'll work or not. So the answer is, should you use it? Hell yeah, use it. See what happens. Let me know, report back. Let me know if you get good results or bad results. And that'll be like one more thing in your head, like, hey, I tried this and it didn't work, so I'm not going to do it in the future, or vice versa. All right, Stan from Nairobi. Thanks for the compliment. Appreciate it. Josh said, would 500 words be enough, or are you being too cheap? What do you think, Josh? Do you think you should do more? Or do you think 500 is good enough? And again, test it. See what happens. Sharon's out of here. You have a good weekend too. Johan says, thanks for the realistic answer. You heard from Black Hat versus White Hat podcast that an e-commerce site should not have a blog. Thoughts? You know what? I don't know anything about e-commerce sites, but I know blogs can, get traffic in. So I would say have a blog, but I don't know about e-commerce sites. So it depends on what your goal is. Wesley says, how long did it take the Empire Flippers evaluation process before they emailed you the recommended multiple for the site? I think like 4 days, 3-4 days, something like that. It was pretty quick. All right. Oh yeah, and John says, hey, do I have an affiliate link for the Ultimate Azon Theme 2.0? You don't mind giving me a kickback? Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. Yep, give me a sec and I'll pull that for you. Mulsk says you've watched other SEOs and they say you should have a tool like SEMRush to scrape all possible keywords you could rank from competitor sites. Do I have any experience? Yes. But can you rephrase your question? I don't understand. I do have experience with that. And I think, you can get some really good ideas with SEMrush. In fact, I have an affiliate link in the description of this video. So let me snag, since John is awesome and he's asking for the affiliate link, I can do that, I think. Stan says your question is on content creation. When you're creating your first 20 to 30 articles, do you write them including product Amazon products or just write good content and monetize later? It's a blend of the two. So really more of a blend. So, and I wouldn't, I would do like 50-50 informational versus like product review type content. So that's just my recommendation. I know other people recommend other stuff, but that is my recommendation. So let me get the link here. Okay, and Happy Nab. All right, thanks. Thanks, I appreciate it. Okay. What other questions do we have? I think I made it through everything in the form. So we'll see how this works out. I was honestly, I was a little nervous. I may end up with some crazy like trolling type activity, but it seems on the up and up here. So that's good. And I think this is fantastic here. This is great. So and Johan says, thanks for the patience with our questions. You're welcome. It actually these are a little stressful for me, I'm not gonna lie. And for all the people, we have like nearly 50 people still hanging out with me right now. One thing I'm gonna do is oh, you know what, John? You should the links in the chat get messed up. So if you copy and paste that whole thing, if you have the ability to do that, is that a thing you could do? Um, yeah, if you could copy and paste it, it's nichesiteproject.com and ultimate um, Azon theme with dashes. And it's also on my resources page. Actually, yeah, like any link you paste in the chat gets messed up. So oh, okay. So Johan, um, the FAQ stuff, I'll probably do. I mean, this is going to be an ongoing project. I'll probably do a blog post and put like the information in there. And then I'll probably do one video on every single one of the questions, of which there are about 20, and there's a lot more. So I'll probably make a playlist and there'll be, a way to get this. Now, what I was going to mention is for all the great people that are hanging out still, so I published a lot of content on YouTube in February, and I'm still published a lot in March, and here we are in April. I'm still publishing a lot, and what I need to do is sort of hop off the treadmill of like pumping so much content out, especially like super like longer videos, the higher production value, and I'm gonna like close down just a tad my publishing schedule so it's a little more manageable for me, and then I'm going to do some planning for a period of time. I've already started talking to my assistant, Mackenzie, to, like basically plan ahead a little bit further as far as content on Niche Site Project, the blog, and the YouTube channel so that, a lot of times I'll shoot a video and then publish it, almost as soon as it's done, right? So as soon as it's edited and all that stuff. So, okay. And John's telling me it's still not found. John, go to nichesiteproject.com and then go to the resources page and you'll find a link to Ultimate Azon theme. And that should work. Sorry about that, John. For some reason, YouTube doesn't want the links to work in the chat. So basically, there may be, instead of like 5 to 7 videos a week, it may be more like 4, something like that. So still, like, I feel like a lot more content than some of the other channels are putting out, but more manageable. And luckily, I actually have like a small reservoir, a bank of a few videos already. And I just need to build that up just a little bit more to continue to put stuff out. And then when I come back, I'll be able to have like a little bit of a plan further ahead. If some people saw the video where I talked about like the YouTube sprint in February, where I published like about 60 videos in 28 days, something like that. It was actually pretty stress-free. It was not that bad. I mean, we did a lot of work. We did a ton of work, but we had about half the videos shot by February 1st. Like half of them were already done. And we had a plan for the rest of the month. We had a full schedule. Every day, the 2 videos that were going out, we already knew what they would be. So because we had that plan and the schedule, it was really straightforward. So essentially, that's what I want to do moving forward. Because right now, like I said, it's like, all right, publish more videos. Like it's favored by YouTube. Everyone here is cool. You come and watch the videos. And basically, I see I need to, like, take a little break so I don't go insane. Plus, next week the course is launching, and I spend a lot of time supporting the students. There's a ton of interaction with the students, and I haven't harped on it too much, but my course, 5-figure niche site, open for enrollment next Monday, 5 days only. So if you're interested in starting a site, you should check it out. The course isn't for everyone. I think, I try and send out examples of people that are, one, just getting started. Some people that maybe you have a site already, maybe it's making 100 to, a couple thousand per month. And if you're able to come in, with nothing, you should be able to start a site and start making money. And then if you already have a site, you should be able to come in, implement some of the strategies, and then grow your site. I've had a couple, those students that already have a site, particularly if you're making, 500 or more per month already, like you can come in, like cherry pick the parts that you got wrong at the beginning, right? You can go fix your foundation, and then you could expand and grow. I can help you scale your site and stuff like that. And John says you think YouTube blocked the redirect. All right, cool. Thanks everyone for the tech folks. It is, I have to admit, it's slightly difficult to manage the chat and try and talk at the same time. It's a little tough, but thanks for the moderators. Really appreciate it. All right, any other questions? Any other questions out there? And Johan says, don't stop the Q&A. It really helps people like me. Cool. Yeah, I think it sounds like people like these. And, from a YouTube like analytics and creator standpoint, I'll spend like hours. I'll spend a lot of time to produce a video, write a script, set up the lights, do all the stuff that you do for a video. I pay for someone to edit it. I have someone help with the description and, just the post-production stuff. And, people maybe will watch just, 30% of it. I'll watch just a few minutes, and no one cares, right? I don't know. Some people watch to the end, I know. But for these live streams, like 50 people for an hour and a half or whatever, like that's pretty amazing as far as watch time. Like that's a really high level of watch time and engagement. And sometimes if I tell people enough to click the like button, we get a lot. Like we're almost to 50. We have 49, which is really good. But if we just got a couple more, that would be awesome. So anyway. Oh, and Jaron says, what percentage of your time do you spend on my own niche site these days? Man, I'm trying to do more. It's probably like 5%, man. And there are certain things that I want to do, but I haven't spent the time recently. So that's part of the reason, right? So part of the reason that I want to step back, don't worry, I'll still publish several videos, but step back and spend more time planning is I want to have like, a day per week or so where I could spend, 4 to 6 hours on a couple sites that I think have a lot of potential, and they just need some attention, right? So some work was done, but optimization needs to happen on these couple sites for them to grow and that sort of thing. So that is something I want to change so I can put more time into those sites. So very, very little. Oh, and thanks. We made it over 50 likes. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Oh, Yokohama Life. What's up? You're in Japan. You really want to catch more of the live streams. It's 2 a.m. Do I have a set stream time? Yes, it's 10 a.m. Mountain time. So it's like an hour and a half ago. This is usually when I do it on Fridays. Now, that's not to say I wouldn't shift it around or do another one, because I know, like, the world's a big place. A lot of people watch the replays, and if I did, for example, let's say, oh, I had another idea I could share since we're all just hanging out. So I could do another live stream, like at a different time of day on a different day, to hit folks that are in, you know, the other hemisphere, right? So I could just have another one, different time of day, potentially answer, similar questions. And, for me, the upside is a live stream like this has virtually no like pre-production. So, no script. I could, you know, shave or not shave. You could see got a decent shave going on today, but um, I could kind of just roll up and answer questions. So, Yokohama, is there like a time that what are you doing up right now, by the way? And then is there a time that's better? Is it like you know, I guess like 10 hours from now, something like that, because that's going to be more in the middle of the day. Anyway, it has crossed my mind, and particularly in the portion of like the planning period, this pause that I described a minute ago, maybe that'd be a good time to do even more live streams. Okay, so here is the other idea that I had. So, I talked a couple weeks ago about like the teardown club. And it sounded interesting, right? Like maybe just charge a little bit just to make sure that we have like good questions and then I can share more information. And it sounded interesting, but you know, extra work. Basically, it sounded like extra work. And then I wasn't going to charge that much. So I talked to a couple people and I stepped back and I was like, you know what? I mean, I'm not trying to like do the money grab and I'm not like trying to make a bunch of money from it. It was just like, oh, how can I provide more value? But when I thought about putting that on my plate and then realizing like I'm still like on the treadmill of like doing more and more content and then I haven't planned ahead, I was like, I need to plan first and then think about it later. So I came to the conclusion, shouldn't try and do any kind of membership. I'd rather just give it away for free. I'd rather just like give you the material for free, super high value. People really like it. Live teardowns. I mean, it seems to be great. They get a lot of traction, even though it's like so niche and so tight that I don't know. I guess it's valuable. People like it. So I'd rather just give it away than try and charge like $20 a month or something like that, right? It's just not my thing, right? But what has happened, right? Like I'm using this new webcam because I don't know which John, but a John sent me an Amazon gift card. And I was like, great, I'll upgrade equipment, right? So I use those Amazon gift cards to upgrade equipment to improve the overall experience. Like maybe one day we get the bed out of here. I don't know. But the even better idea, and it's coming around to what Yokohama Life was asking about. Um, here's the idea. So I enjoy beer, like most people know, and I also like coffee. I was going to say had some coffee right now. But my idea was people want to, you know, just send a gift. Like if you want to send me like a beer from your local microbrewery or maybe a Belgian beer, which is my favorite, that would be cool. And then potentially, right, here's where it's coming around. If I did a live stream in the evening for our international folks who are not in the, you know, this hemisphere, right? It could be time where I have a beer while I'm doing the live stream. And then, if you're more of the morning person, right, you send me coffee from a local roaster, and then I'll drink your coffee on the air, give you a shout out. And I thought I would call it Doug's Drinking Club. So I don't know. That's just the thought. Cause like I said, I could do, the membership thing and try and, charge a monthly fee and stuff like that. Or you could just give it away and try and help as many people as I can. And then if people want to send me beverages, well, I would drink them. I would love to have that sort of thing. So anyway, any thoughts on that? Especially, if you're watching the replay, feel free to comment as well. But in the chat, is that an interesting idea? Dumb idea? Okay. And Johan says, you're a lurker, but you just started to interact with the podcasts. It's cool, like podcasts where I'm a guest. Is that what you mean? Okay, and Hiking Gear says it's really difficult to get a good freelancer at a reasonable rate. You've had 2 or 3 bad experiences of plagiarism. What are you paying? Vance says, you've been watching me on replay. I'm awesome. Thank you. Quick question. With the KGR and you mostly get Amazon links, low content, is that a good or bad sign? All right. Um, I think it's generally a bad sign. It depends on if the post is optimized, right? If the like the content, not the post, but the product page on Amazon, if it's optimized in the title, then that's not a good sign. If it's not optimized, then yeah, probably yeah. Okay. And Molsk says, is it better to choose a product category or a topic? One has to look at the keyword research to get a good understanding on that. So I'm sure there are examples of both. In general, I would say make your site branded in a general way so that you can expand to many different products, but yeah, it's probably it probably doesn't matter a huge amount. Okay, Adam says it's a cool idea. All right, awesome. And then Yokohama says you would send me some Japanese beer for more streams. Awesome. Sakit says once you start earning, you would send me some stuff. And Steven mentions breakfast Q&A and evening nightcap. Indeed, yeah, that's right. And the problem is getting it through customs. And Doug's Drinking Club is great. Okay, I thought so too. I may or may not have had a beer at the time, but it doesn't mean it can't be a good idea. Yeah, I think potentially, right, for the folks that are international, it could be pretty expensive to send liquids. Additionally, if you haven't sent beer before, like you have to, wrap it in bubble wrap, tape it up, and then put it inside a like trash bag or some kind of plastic bag and tie it off so that if any damage occurs, like in the bottle breaks or something, um, or the cap comes off or something like that, it won't spill and like get all over everything because then they'll like throw out your package or it'll just be a mess. It'll smell bad and stuff. But for the people that are in that situation, perhaps a gift card would be more appropriate versus like sending like if you just send coffee, that should be a little bit easier to send, a little lighter, and just put it in a package. Local roast could be good. Okay. Any other questions? It looks like a lot came in. Really appreciate everyone today. And don't forget, if you're watching the replay and you're still sticking around and stuff, that's amazing. But you can go to the link, the bit.ly link, that is the form submission for questions, right? So you could submit your questions in the future for future sessions, and then it'll be hopefully in my wildest dreams, it'll be easy for me just to look at the spreadsheet, answer the questions, and it'll probably be like really easy for me to get ideas for new videos. So I could probably do a video on each one of the questions sent in, which is, I mean, it's like helping me, it's helping you, and potentially less emails from me. It drives me insane. And Vance said, to clarify the question, the keyword golden ratio is for an informational post, but the Amazon product result state high. And you live in Vegas and there's a lot of good IPAs. I bet. I do like IPAs, man. That sounds good. I bet you can get a lot of other beers that I can't get here. So maybe, I mean, it would be, oh man, it would be so great. Now, when I went to Colorado, went to Denver about a month ago, I came back with like half the car was filled with beer. Um, I went crazy. I'm actually having a little tasting with some friends in a couple days here, but yeah, I got a ton of good beer. Montana, we don't get very much stuff. So Vance, I'm not really sure. What do you mean but the Amazon product result state high? Obviously, it's a misspelled word, but I don't know. Here's the thing. If, like I said earlier before you joined Vance, um, just probably write it out, get it written, whatever, publish it, see what happens. You can adjust after the post is published. Maybe change the title and reframe it. But okay, you're saying Amazon is ranking 1 through 4 on page 1. Yeah, that's generally a bad sign. And again, if you look at the title for each one of those results, if it is optimized, if it is serving the user, then it's probably not going to be a good one. Oh yeah, and Sean, it says congratulations on my third place in wheat and rye ale competition. Yeah, I'm a pretty good home brewer. I've had a couple. Actually, if you just look for my name and beer, you'll probably find a lot of stuff. So I've brewed and entered a lot of beer. That's why I ship so many of them. So, oh, Bob's on. Bob, I answered your question earlier. First thing, go all the way back to the beginning, and you could hear me answer your question. All right, we're about to wrap it up here. So, any last questions before we go? I know there's always a little bit of a delay. And don't forget, if you have the opportunity to hit the thumbs up, really appreciate it. Course comes out next week if you're interested in that. All right. And that's it. I'm heading out. Cool. Everybody have a good weekend, and we'll catch you next time.